Hi guys, it's Marc Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, also known as Marc Zicree of Space Command, and I'm here today to talk about the event that you probably already know about, the release of the second trailer for Star Wars 8, The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams' blockbuster film that will conquer the universe come December. It was released, the trailer that is, was released in accordance with the big Star Wars convention going on in Anaheim right now. And I had my little table gathering last night, the industry roundtable I run, and one of the attendees was talking about how he watched the trailer and he was in tears throughout, and tears of joy. And so I want to talk about Star Wars for a moment, and I think JJ is doing many things wonderfully well. And I grew up with Star Trek. That was the big science fiction event in my life. And my friend Mel Gilden says the golden age of science fiction is 13, and I absolutely agree with that. That when you're a kid, that's when science fiction can touch your heart and activate your brain and essentially be everything you've been waiting for. And for one generation, it was Star Trek, which was science fiction stories of a level never seen before, of a quality never seen before, and an adventure that took us into a whole universe. But for another generation that's now in their 40s largely, that was Star Wars. And I was in my early 20s when Star Wars came out, so although I liked it very much, it wasn't that, light going on for me. But I enjoyed it, but it will never live in my heart the way Star Trek does, simply because of when it came into my life. However, Star Wars is absolutely huge, and this is a difference from when I was a kid, by the way. When I was a kid, science fiction was sort of a fringe thing. Science fiction was something that a minority of people enjoyed. Science fiction was what those weirdos were into. Now, of course, science fiction is mainstream. Science fiction is, everyone around the world loves Star Wars. Everyone around the world is waiting for that movie. It'll make an enormous amount of money. I mean, even the last 3 Star Wars films, which everyone agrees were not the greatest thing since sliced bread, made a ton of money and did reinvigorate the franchise in the way that Lucas intended, which allowed him to sell the property for billions of dollars. I think it was $4 billion to Disney. But in terms of the current Star Wars versus the last 3 films, and my friend Ian McCaig was a lead character designer on those films, and so I got a bit of an insider's view on them. And Ian is always quick to point out that while he designed Darth Maul and Queen Amidala, he did not design Jar Jar Binks, the infamous Jar Jar Binks. But I had lunch a few years ago with J.J. Abrams, and we were talking about Star Trek and Star Wars, and J.J. was not a devotee of Star Trek. So basically, when he did the Star Trek movies, he had to bring aboard Trekkies or Trekkers who knew the canon, who loved the property, so that he could be respectful of what had gone before. And some people don't like JJ's Star Trek films. I actually think he did a very, very good job. And but again, it's everyone has their own tastes and their own loyalties and affections. But in terms of Star Wars, JJ did grow up with Star Wars, and he loved Star Wars, and he was very, very intent on not screwing it up. And I think the fact that he brought Lawrence Kasdan in as one of the writers, and the fact that he brought the original cast back, in addition to new actors like Oscar Isaacs, who's a terrific actor. I think these are all very, very, very good signs, because I think when Lucas did the last 3 films, he was sort of avoiding what had gone before. It was still the characters, but it wasn't those actors. And by going back to Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, I think he really is on track. And I personally think the movie's going to be very, very good. And whether or not it wins the hearts and minds of the world like the original Star Wars has, remains to be seen. But all signs are great right now. All signs are pointing toward favorable, and certainly JJ is putting everything he's got into it, as I'm sure are all the other people who are doing the film. It'll be fascinating to see what he comes up with, and the new trailer shows a lot more of the Star Wars universe that's going to be unveiled in the 4th film. But I just wanted to talk about this a little from a bit of the inside view of knowing and talking with the people who are making the Star Wars canon. Ian, of course, Ian McCaig is my designer on Space Command, and he was my designer on Magic Time, and also Star Trek New Voyages, World Enough in Time. He's been my designer on most of what I've been doing ever since we met over 20 years ago. So I think, and he also worked on JJ's Star Wars film as well. So that's really about it for now. We'll all see what what it will be unveiled in December. But I think they're rolling it out very cleverly and well. And I'll probably be going to the Star Wars convention on Sunday, and I'll check in from that. But anyway, that's it for now. Marc Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi. Feel free to comment about Star Wars, spread the word, share these commentaries with your friends and and everyone else in the world. And we'll talk very, very soon. But may the force be with you. Live long and prosper, and all the other science fiction catchphrases that we've all come to know and love in all these years. Science fiction is a wonderful place to live, and it's great to have all these wonderful and diverse universes to fire our imaginations and teach us how to be in the world. That's it for now. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.